All right.
But yeah, it's crazy. I'm looking at your YouTube right now. It's crazy how much content there is. And you started a bit earlier. You started even before I made this a thing. You were doing like 3 weeks ago, which is insane.
Yeah.
And
And it's like
it's a sick
it's
feeling,
totally
right? It's a sick
yeah,
feeling to have all these videos up.
it's totally changed. Like at the beginning I was like, what the fuck am I gonna talk about? Like I don't know. And then so like I'm trying to come up with like concepts and themes. And then like it's at a point now where it's like I have a backlog of videos
Hmm.
that I haven't even like there's some days where I'll record like three or four in a day because I'll find myself in thought and I'm like, this is the moment where I need to record. Like if I wait and try to record like save these thoughts and bank them for like the end of the day when I would normally record, it comes out just being like inauthentic and it sounds rehearsed. And I found that like no, I just need to be ready to record like on a moment's notice.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's yeah, that's been a game changer for me.
Yep. I totally get it. Yeah, when you have those moments and you rip, those are always the best videos. And you should like you shouldn't worry about I'm you know me, I'm not like a fan of scheduling or like stuff like that. It's just rip it. And
Yeah.
it sounds like you're doing that, which is awesome.
And part of that is like just being comfortable like recording regardless of like what's going on around you, which
Mm.
I was self-conscious about that at first. Like if I was somewhere where I was like, oh, this person's gonna think like, what's this aspiring influencer trying to do right now with this
Yep.
little video? But it's
Yeah.
like yeah.
It's nice to get into the state where you don't give a fuck about that anymore. It's like
Right.
it's a good feeling, especially in New York. It took me a while to be able to. I still struggle with it a bit, but like now that's my mentality though. Like there's all these people and I'm just in my own world. It's a nice exercise.
And it's like it's nuts that you say that about New York too, because I feel like I'd be more comfortable in New York because it's like
Mm,
anything goes there, but like I get it
that is
too.
true. That is true, but it's still a thing. Like most people are not
Right.
out there. Maybe in like Times Square, it's crazy, but like down here, it's like downtown, it's like normal people who live here.
Yeah.
Mostly. To be fair, there's tourists everywhere. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I see what you mean though. Yeah, man. It's great. It's good to see you crushing this shit. It makes me really happy, dude. It's like because I know how hard it is. It was so hard for me to start making videos. So now that you've had this jump, like it's life changing, I think. Like I think it is. Because you'll I'm sure you're gonna make stuff the rest of your life. So having this skill is it's good. It's really good.
Yeah. And I mean, like, regardless of like the content that it's this challenge is generating, you talked about this a couple times where it's like I'm like I definitely feel more comfortable and I feel like I'm getting better at just like speaking in general, which is outstanding. Like that was something that I definitely needed was so like and with that, I guess I have a question. Like one of the things I found that I struggle with is I'll go off on like a rant or whatever, and then I find that I can't put a bow on it or I don't know how to like conclude it. What one, do you have that issue? And two, if you do, like how do you how do you fix it? How do you what tools do you use to address that? One of which would be what I just did, asking a question.
Are you saying at like the end of a video, are you saying at the like end of a video, like you're trying to finish the video or just one specific thought?
Well, both. Like I'll have a thought and I'll like make my point and I feel like I'll get to a point where like I've given it everything it has and then I'm like I find myself like stuttering and then I end up just kind of like reiterating the point over and over again and
Yep.
then like digging like trying to find the words to
Yep.
conclude it
Yep.
and then I don't and then I'm just like okay, I'm done and turn it
Yeah,
off.
it is important. I go back to the thing I've said it before, I think in this group, it's like uh, the structure for a video, even just like tell people what you're going to tell them it, and then tell them what you told them. Like, here's the thing. Here's, you know what I mean? And so it is important to like remind them because I think that's the final, like, boom, this was it. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard, I think, to just easily explain, but it's about just wrapping your idea in the simplest version. Like, how can you summarize it in a sentence before moving on? I do think that's important, especially I think if you can make it actionable. Like, for example, I'm working on like a book right now, and like the end of every chapter, they're like, you really need to make it actionable. Like the summary, it should be like, go do this. So I think reminding a person like the actionable piece could be interesting way to summarize it because it's very specific. It's very specific and helpful. And I think knowing when to, yeah, knowing when to end an idea is hard. It's just like, when is this not serving people? I think that's when you end it. Yeah.
Got it.
So I would
I'm
think like
sorry, I'm right.
I like actionable conclusions, I think are good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And then are you coming up with that actionable piece prior to, or is that one of the things where it's more of an art that it's coming to you in the moment?
I think more of an art,
Yeah.
definitely, because you're gonna figure out things as you talk, as you navigate the maze of explaining something. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's up, Brian?
All right, boys. Just
How we
enjoying
doing?
listening. Both riff there with my screen off before, but yeah, good listening. Videos are going well. I think the
Yep.
only big thing for me is probably like getting more inspiration when I'm out just living life. Like
Mhm.
I did a video last Thursday. I was out on a bike ride and
I love it.
pulled over to this little spot and just flowed. Like I've been filming everything on my phone,
Hmm.
mainly on the go, but like where I am at work at the moment, there's like, you know, no real breakout rooms and I'm typically here late. And the difference between recording something late at night as opposed to just like if I, am exercising or out doing something, I'm finding to be quite significant for just like creative thoughts and flow.
You're
So
saying when you're walking, it's a lot easier.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so much. It's so much easier.
Yeah, and maybe that's because I'm at the start of the journey, but like I know that a lot of yours are sitting down, but you've been doing it for much longer.
Yeah,
But yeah, I definitely think there's something to be said. And you know, for most people, I feel like when you're moving, yeah, you have that more creative thought. I know that I walk around a lot when I'm on the phone too, talking to someone. You pace.
100%.
Uh, so,
No, there's like
yeah,
science behind it. It's easier to generate thoughts and be creative when you're walking.
yeah,
I don't think it's a bad thing. But yeah, it is. I mean, look, eventually it's easier to do sitting down, but I think however you can get out stuff, you get out stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think it's a bad thing that you're recording walking.
no, for sure. Do you note down like your ideas and then batch record, or is it more just like a record when that inspiration hits?
Yeah, more of the inspiration hits. I'm rarely like a batching guy. Unless pretty rare. Yeah. I just the way I operate is always you have this idea, you have this thing you need to share it, make it, and get it out as quickly as possible. That's how I've done everything since I started. I think when you do that, it is hard because you can't really stop. Like you can't escape. You know what I mean? Because it's like you kind of have to always be on. But at the same time, that means that everything I've posted for, like I said, this is how I've done things. It's how I recommend for people like me or in general, but there's a lot of ways to do it. But it means that for like 5 years, everything I posted has just been like raw, had the idea, had to share it. And over time, that like realness compounds, I think, a lot and like really matters. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Versus someone who's making like very manufactured content where it's like, it's just scheduled to go up and it's not, you know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm so big on that. Like, I'm so big on like people can feel the energy in your content 1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah.
No, I agree. I love it. I love it. And I think for me as well, like I'll come back and look at it in a year's time and
Mm.
have this, almost journal catalog of videos and be able to refer back of like, fuck, like look at where I was, look at the quality, whatever it is, look at the message. It'll be really cool.
It's
So
the best. It's the best feeling. We were talking about that, I think, before you hopped in. It's the best feeling to have like this bank of content to look back on. Like even like this year, like I've been, there's some days where I'm not feeling it. I'll go back and look at my old videos and it like pumps me up. It literally pumps me up. And yeah, it's a cool thing.
yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, and
Very
it's
cool.
it's it's cool to think about what that'll look like in years too, especially if you keep going. I think it's extremely special. I wish I started documenting my life earlier. I mean, I've documented it some ways, like with more so writing. But I think having that stuff is everything.
Yeah. I don't know if you got another question, Scott, but one thing that I have thought of for a while, and your, email promoting this a couple of weeks ago now made me obviously take the leap because that's why I'm here. But
Mhm.
I had an idea for a while to record a video and like documenting my life, and not to this extent where it's so raw and in one take, but maybe documenting my day a bit more and showing different things and then editing this really cool piece, but releasing it in the future
Mhm.
and sort of like delaying gratification on what it was, but showing that my life, hopefully in that year time or period's time, would be what I want it to be, but showing them the journey. So it's almost like here's my life now. However, I've documented the last year, 2, 3 years, and I'm going to be releasing these. So this video that you're about to see was me three years ago on this day, and this is how I got to the life where I am now. I don't know if that makes complete sense. Sort of does in my mind.
So you
Uh,
said is this I'm just missing like the structure. So you probably said it, I just misheard. So you want to release when would this be released?
I was thinking 1,000 days, so
Yeah.
it's just under 3 years' time. So the
Yeah.
idea would be like a delayed daily gratification journal. So like delayed
Mhm.
gratification, obviously the idea doing things now that you don't reap the rewards of in, immediacy. You
Mhm.
getting long form, long term payback. And so the fact that I wouldn't even release the video, uh, I guess it is batching or not batching, it's scheduling it. But
Mhm.
essentially, like, I'd record the video and then release and like schedule it for 1,000 days time and work that out. Or I could just put it for like exactly 3 years into the future. And so by the time that comes, I certainly would have forgotten what I've recorded. And I like the idea of doing this raw. Obviously, at the moment, I'm releasing the videos to YouTube, and I'm like, my sign off is similar to what David Senra does with his podcast, where he says like episode 330 or 333 down, 1,000 to go.
Yeah.
See you
Love
again
that.
next week. I'm just saying like, there's vlog number 10,000 to go. See you tomorrow.
I love it.
Uh, but
Yeah,
I
it's
think
sick.
I like it, yeah, obviously, I'm absolutely pay kudos to him. He's brilliant at his craft. So, um, but I think like, yeah, I think at day 30, I might stop releasing them and then start scheduling them for 3 years' time. But I was, yeah, curious as to your thought. Should I do that or should I just keep releasing them? And
So hold
like,
on,
I don't
wait.
really at the
Okay,
views.
yeah, sorry to interrupt you. So wait, so after day 30, you're still gonna film them every day for 1,000 days, but not post them until the end? Is that what you're saying?
That's the idea. But they
That's
wouldn't
a
all, so
bit
they wouldn't
side.
all come out. They wouldn't all
That's
come out on the same day. So the idea is like the day, and I could start again and say like, this is day one of 1,000, but then that first video gets released on day 1,001 and day two gets released on day 1,002. So it's like
yeah,
you
it's a
can go
bit.
back and watch.
Yeah,
Yeah, curious
I
as your
get
thought.
it. I get it. I think it's crazy in a good way, but I also think it's like it kind of it I think it's more interesting just to keep posting, like keep posting. And what you can do is film like a special. I would do what Mr. Beast does, which is he recorded the video like 10 years ago, and he scheduled it to upload like I think soon actually. And he's like, hey, I hope you have like 1 million subscribers by now, and it's gonna go up probably this year or whenever. And I would do something like that if you feel like you need to do something like in this
Yeah,
arena or film a bunch of stuff like that and just schedule it for literally 10 years or 5 years, whatever. I
yeah,
think, 'Cause yeah, I think the whole point is like, I don't know, to do it and not post it for 1,000 days is crazy. And to
One of
not
the
start, it's crazy. I mean, maybe you could like tease it, like post on Instagram Reels. I don't know, but that's just my opinion.
I
I
think
mean,
one
I
of the
value,
things that
value
like you I mean, I think it's an awesome idea too. And yeah, it's crazy, which I love. But I think in doing so, you're gonna miss out on the potential opportunity to compound your YouTube channel and like grow it, which if you're okay with that, that's great. But that'd be one of the downsides, I would think. Like if you're putting in all this work, like I feel like you earn to be rewarded for it by like growing your channel. Um, just my thoughts.
no, for sure. I mean, like, at this point, I have no huge desires to be like a super famous YouTuber or anything like that. It's more just like I am a creative person. I want to keep creating. I want to create with cool people around the world and bring projects to life. I'm involved with some pretty cool things at the moment, which I'm talking about in my videos. But in part, I'm like almost a guy that's happy to be behind the scenes building. And yeah, I mean, again, I've got like 7 subscribers, and I think one's my girlfriend, who's like the only one watching every
Mhm.
day, and then the rest are obviously a few people from this group, which is awesome. But I've like not even told friends. I've not posted about it on like my podcast Instagram. I haven't done any of that, and I'm not afraid to do that. But I'm almost just like happy to build in the shadows, and maybe it is just a thing of just like build this 1,000 episodes, talk about the journey, talk about what I'm building, and then when I've made it, so to speak, or like whatever life looks like in 3 years, go and talk more about it. But no, I appreciate both of your thoughts. I realize it's a bit of a weird idea, but that's part of why I'm in this group, because I know there's people who are obsessed and doing weird things. I've spoken to a few friends about the idea, but yeah, these people aren't necessarily creating, so their opinions hold much less weight.
Yeah, like I love the energy. The long-term energy is everything. So however you do
Yeah.
that, you do it. Even if it is like this crazy method. Like I'm a supporter. Happy to talk about it more. But yeah, cool. I love the idea.
Yeah,
It's
maybe we'll up another time to chat about it once I've maybe fleshed it a bit more.
yeah, I'm a big fan
Sweet.
of just like extreme challenges. Like that's everything. Like it's very hard to grow an audience if you're not on some type of challenge or mission, I think. I believe that. I believe that a lot. Yeah. So
Interesting.
I would just think about how can you make that challenge as interesting and as epic and as unique as possible. And then if it's a challenge and it's connected to content, you're gonna do something special in my opinion. Because it's like the content is like the product. It's like the content is the challenge. If you're doing this, that's why it's so cool. But yeah, let me know what you think. Keep thinking about it.
What if, sorry to keep asking along this line, but
Oh, it's okay.
whilst you just said that, a new thought popped into my head. What if there was some sort of hook to what I was releasing? So say if I don't maybe release the full video,
Hmm.
but I maybe release a minute and then
Hmm.
leave it on a cliffhanger. And I realize the cliffhanger is 3 years of a wait. So it's a bit of a fucking retarded idea in that sense. Like no one's going to necessarily remember it in 3 years.
Hmm.
But like you could release something on short form and then say to see the rest of this video, it drops in 1,000 days. And then
Hmm.
if I kept releasing a short form reel, but then the long form drops in 1,000 days, I don't know. But like life right now, and like I'm sure for you guys as well, like you have moments of like brilliance, and like you have your New York, your run club on a Monday morning, and like you connect with people. But I feel like for most people, building like a lot of days, you try to make them consistent. You're doing things where you're maybe not interacting with a lot of people in person. And long form, I mean, I'm just talking to camera, so that's fine. But as I'm saying this, I'm like, is that hook going to be engaging? Maybe not. But yeah, anyway, it's
Yeah, I
probably
mean
more a thought.
it's interesting. It's interesting. It's just yeah, I mean, like I said, just keep thinking about it. And figure
Sweet.
out the most. What I would say is figure out the most interesting sentence, most interesting sentence to explain this challenge you're gonna do, because that one sentence is everything. And so like test it with people. Like go around and like say to people, "Hey, I'm doing this thing, doing I'm doing 1,000 videos. I'm not gonna post them for 3 years." That's one way of like, or I don't know, 3 years, whatever. That's one way of explaining it. Test like 10 different ways of explaining it and see which ones stand out to people. That's what I would do.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
report back.
Hmm.
Fuck.
Someone once told me that, my friend, he's like, yeah, just like test ideas all day and make up things and tell them to people and sees responses. He's like a product guy. I'm like, that's actually kind of genius because you don't have to
Yeah.
like, he's like, he'll be like, oh yeah, I'm starting this, like, I don't know, sword company. And like, he just sees responses and like, he doesn't have to be starting it. You could just say, oh, I'm as a joke. I think that's genius.
Love it.
Um, cool.
Thanks. Thanks,
Anything
guys.
else, boys? Anything else, Scott?
No, no, I'm just taking notes.
Yeah, it's like I'm so big on that. Make it ridiculously clear what you're trying to do. That's why like David Senra, who like I was obsessed with this podcast last year. This year I still love it too. I just don't listen as much to podcasts in general. He like loves my stuff, which is like to me is like a very big a note of appreciation because like I said, I look up to him a lot. And what he says is like you're just so simple to explain. Like what you're doing is great because it's very easy to like explain who you are and what you're doing and for how people can help you. And so he's big on that being easy to what's the word? I forgot what he
Easily
said.
explainable, easily understandable.
Yeah,
I
something
know
like
I've heard him talk about this as well. I know what you
yeah.
mean because
I put this in videos. It's easy to like understand, easy to label, and like it's very important and underrated. I think because so many people try to do so many things, and then you're like, oh, how do you explain this person? Versus Zach, he's just like Zach is trying to do this. He's trying to like build the world of obsession. Zach is the obsession guy, and that's it. And it's simple. And yeah, yeah.
cool. Do you feel like that's clear for you, Scott? What is it clear that you're doing?
No, it's not. I need to work on that. I've got
Well, to me,
Same.
it's
too
you're
many things I'm
building.
trying to do.
Yeah, to me, to just interrupt, I'll tell you what it is from my perspective is you're building the dreaming big brand. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's what you want it to be, but it's like that to me is what it is. It doesn't really matter what you want it to be. It matters what other people think it is, and then you have to go and change it. Yeah. You know what I
In
mean?
which when you put it that way, yeah, I think a lot of other people view me that way as well. Even though I may think that I'm doing 5 million things at once and feel like it's all going and it's all chaotic.
Yeah.
So
What do you think it should be?
no, I think it should be that because that's what I've been working on for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. But now it's a little more like you're doing it a different way now. You're putting your face out there more. It's different. But yeah.
And I'm attaching fitness to it, which I should have done a long time ago because like I'm like you. I played sports my whole life. I played college football and like dreaming big essentially started the moment that dream ended.
Yep.
Of
That's kind of when my
and
life started as well. When that dream ended.
which I didn't realize that I was trying to like fit my brand into a category it didn't belong in or I didn't know anything about, and it took me like damn near 10 years to realize that, which is
Hmm.
fucking crazy.
Hmm.
But it's all part of it. That's a
It is.
lesson that can be taught in itself.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I love it. Good energy, guys. Good chat. Anything else or you guys good to wrap up?
No, I'll percolate on that. Thank you very much.
Are you part
Good
of this
stuff.
unofficial run club? I was looking at your YouTube.
Yeah, I saw you followed us last week
You're helping
with the
build this?
page. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah. So
yeah, it's someone sent me one of your videos the other day. I didn't know you were part of this. Really cool. Um
yeah, that's one of the things that it's like, we're so new. We're like 7 months old, based in Sydney, Australia. And it's actually why I moved to Sydney. I've known the guys for like 3 years. Chad, he just ran London Marathon, but he ran New York last year. And he was there. I think he's mates with, is it Scrambled Legs? No, who's
yeah, in
Ben
London.
Sharp? Yeah,
Ben what?
but Ben Sharp, like, I saw he was hanging out with a guy close to Ben Sharp, who
You
I
know
think's
Ben
one of your,
Scharf?
I don't personally, but Chad, who's one of the co-founders as well of Unofficial, he knows someone who knows Ben.
Ben's
Obviously,
like one of my
small.
best friends. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know he was one of your best friends. I've seen him in.
I lived with him for like I
Oh,
lived with him
no
at the
way.
start of this year for like a month. Yeah.
Yeah, dope. What was there was
This is the other guy, Chad, who's helping run. What makes you run? What makes it so great? Why it looks amazing. I mean, it looks great. Like why do people love it?
yeah, so I'd say three things. I'm sitting in our offices right now, so we're backed by a media company, which is who I work for, Fulton Media. So the content's sick.
You just crush the
That's
content from the beginning.
Yeah, unreal content. We have a lot of UGC stuff, but then we have a team of like 7 videographers in-house, and we have someone there shooting every Friday morning.
You get an
Then
insane squad. How many people is this?
yeah, we have over 1,000 people every Friday morning at 6 a.m. Yeah,
What? Holy
yeah.
This is
shit.
wild because I'm
Where
trying to
where
figure out
is
what
this?
Australia, Sydney, right?
Sydney, Australia.
Where
So
can
the
I find your
content,
club at though?
I'll put it in here.
Instagram, unofficial
I'll,
run club.
I'll put it in the chat. I'm checking it out.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, because I'm trying to decide what to do with my run club. It's like New York City. I mean, Sydney probably has a ton of run clubs as well, right?
Sydney has a few, but no one gets as
Yeah.
much as us. Like, and I'm not
Yeah.
just saying that I'm on the call
No,
with you guys.
dude, I believe it. There's no way.
Yeah,
Like,
it's us. Like we're
I'm
easily
um,
all
the
for
biggest in
it. I feel like the
Australia.
more run clubs, the better. Like I'm trying to
me
build
too.
one as well.
No,
So
totally.
it's
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, run
trying.
through them.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm trying to figure out what to do with mine. It kind of like I started the year and it was kind of it was pretty sick. We got like 50-ish people the first few, and now I kind of like to be fair, I don't promote it that much. I just kind of like post it. I don't make any content for it, but I'm deciding if I want
Yeah,
to like keep building it, rebrand it. So it's sick to see you fucking killing it, and you guys are killing the content
yeah.
for sure.
yeah, this is great.
So
Content's
much
a big
content.
thing. I mean, the route helps. It's one of like when people think of Australia, most people probably think of like the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera House,
Yeah.
uh, which you might not know the names, but when you see it, you probably have seen it in movies. Beautiful
Hmm.
bridge, Harbour Bridge, and then this Opera House. So we basically run across the bridge and then around the Opera House. So it's like an out and back 4 mile, 6.5K loop. And then honestly, like the community is huge. So like really, really good vibes. The first time I went, there was 10 people. So I wasn't one of like the founders, but missed it by a week. But I now work or missed it by a couple of weeks, but work closely with the guys. We've just partnered. We've just got some new,
Okay.
like our very first partnership with a brand.
Dude,
Um,
selfishly, I would love to see more content about that. That's so cool. I'm gonna watch your video
Same,
about building it.
same.
Because
well,
that's
I've,
like,
I've talked very high level about it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, we could jump on a call sometime with Chad, and have a chat because there's like I work directly with him every day building this. It's basically why he brought me in, up from Melbourne. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But I'm the guy happy to be behind the scenes. But
got it.
I know that there's a lot of cool stuff to come and a lot of opportunities. Like honestly, we've had every fucking
Brand.
brand
Yeah.
reach out to us, throwing stuff, and it's like we don't want to sell ourselves down the river because it's sort of like once you accept one, people think they can have access to
Yeah.
you just giving you free stuff
Yeah.
or merch. But like, we love George Heaton and the stuff that they do. And whilst they maybe not a run club, you look at what he's then created with 247, and like it's just sick. And I realized like that's $100 million brand that's played out over 10 years time. But there's nothing really like this in Australia. We've made some really cool connections, and it's really just the beginning. So that's what I want to document with these like 1,000-day videos. It's just like, hey, we're going to build unofficial to this, and people will want to see that raw behind the scenes stuff. Whereas Chad is the more polished, like he's putting out content every day, building as the face of the
He's a
brand.
bit of the face of it. Yeah. I think that's a good combo though. It's
Yeah.
a great
Yeah. I'm
combo.
his Mike. I'm the Mike Heaton to his George Heaton in that sense.
Are you with the Forte Media Company as well?
Yeah. I'm in the office right now. So we've got like people working,
Very
videographers sit over.
sick.
Chad's office is over there.
Yeah. Very sick. I love it.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
man.
What an advantage you guys have. Like, because you guys are, I mean, not an advantage, it's just you guys are crushing the content. I want to watch more
Yeah.
of it. Really cool. It looks so fun. You capture the vibe amazingly.
Yeah.
I'll flick you. I can put it in the chat real quick now. So we actually have a guy as well who's a good friend of mine. I've known him for 5 years. His name's Sean Bell. He's running around Australia, which is 14,000 kilometers.
It's
It's
crazy.
maybe that's less than 10,000 miles. Um, so we're doing more long form stuff as well. But um, we did a day one vlog
Hmm.
Oh, that's
where
sweet.
a bunch of us went down and ran with him. So a double marathon. I'd never ran that distance before,
Hmm.
but you run it at a slow enough pace where you can basically like you run, stop. Sometimes you're walking, but it's pretty sick. And we're going to be dropping more of these vlogs, but they're a bit more produced. Did that come through?
So, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So have a watch of that, boys. And
This is
yeah, I'd
sick.
love to hear your
Cool.
thoughts. But
Yeah, thanks for
for sure,
sharing about what you're building. It's so
Yeah.
cool. I wasn't, you know what's funny? I've seen your stuff and I just didn't, you're not the face of it really. So I didn't like, I couldn't tell like that you were
yeah.
involved. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can chat about another time, but it's like I'm happy to be behind the scenes, but obviously long term, yeah, you do want to be able to have a bit more of a base and connection so that you can bring opportunities to the fore a lot quicker.
Mhm.
Like I'm happy to have more of a forward facing thing, but I don't really post too much on my personal Instagram. I post stories
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But obviously stories don't last that long. But like even your stuff, you know, I know you posting quotes a lot now, and obviously YouTube, if people look deeper, but that's what I like. I'd prefer like if people are going to take the time and look deeper,
Hmm.
that's when you give more of the face as opposed to like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's been a
my
bit of
thought.
my strategy. Yeah. It's like, give them an option to go deeper. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they go deeper, they get rewarded with like, oh fuck, here's like a treasure trove of like 10-minute videos of this guy just
Yep.
laying it all
It's having like
um
the library, the binge bank, my friend says.
binge bank. Yeah,
Binge
yeah,
bank.
that's
And it's like they can just spend now like hours and days. It's cool. Um, awesome.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I
chat
gotta go.
about your run club sometime, man. Like you got
I'm
Hunter
down.
Weiss with you. Like I followed
He's
Hunter's
actually out
journey.
of it now. He's out of it. He got hurt. He's kind of done running for a bit.
Oh, he's
But
done running. But I mean, like get him filming stuff. Like,
yeah.
you know, there's things
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, we can chat about it another time.
Yeah,
I
no,
was gonna say,
whenever.
Zach, like who's helping you out with the run club? Like, is it
Uh
just you driving it, or
yeah, just me now. It's smaller now. It's like, 20-ish people, sometimes less. Um so
Yeah,
it's small. I'm not like building it as like a thing yet. It's just like it's just a project that, a thing I do versus like what you guys are doing. You're fucking building this thing. It's amazing.
yeah.
And I think I could. It's just like you only have so much energy and
well,
it's
it seems like
impressive.
you're
It's
more focused on like your own running too right
kind
now,
of,
more than
yeah.
like
But that's
building
also
a
like an
community.
excuse though. That's also an excuse. Like you guys also have a company you're running, So it's the same thing. You're running a media company and also building this epic run club, right? So you can do,
Yeah. I mean, there's five co-founders and then there's me as well. So like we have a
yeah.
weekly meeting, but then four of us work in Fordham and then two of them are Chad's close mates.
Yep.
And like we're all mates now and we're working well together. But yeah, I think having a team of people really has helped.
100%.
Um, you know, you build alone, obviously you don't go as fast, but yeah, I'm sure
100%.
you've got some good connections there. But yeah, we
Cool.
can have a chat sometime.
Cool. All right. Good chat, boys. Awesome
All
Sick
talking to you
right.
both.
lads.
Keep killing
Yep.
it.
Cheers.
Thank you.